Hello and welcome to this special screening of Garbage Warrior. Could I please introduce the filmmaker? This is Oliver Hodge and his warrior, Michael Reynolds. Tell us about your film.
Garbage Warrior is a human story about Michael's struggle to build sustainable buildings in America and all around the world, for that matter.
Michael, a film about yourself. How did you find it?
I'm grateful that this film has happened. The time that it takes to change law and bureaucracy, we don't have that kind of time anymore.
You are going to see the epic mission of Michael Reynolds, told by the filmmaker Oliver Hodge. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll talk to you in the Q&A after.
It's called the Thumb House because it looks like a thumb. That's the beer can building blocks right there.
Renegade eco-architect Mike Reynolds hears the Earth's clock ticking.
If humanity takes the planet down the tubes, I'm dead. And that is a powerful force.
For 35 years in the wide open spaces of America's New Mexico desert, he's been building houses from old tires and bottles. These so-called Earthships are designed to be totally self-sufficient, trapping rainwater, using the sun for power and for heat through the harsh desert winter, even recycling sewage to fertilize crops.
A family of 4 could totally survive here without even going to the store.
Well, that's the plan, but it's an ongoing experiment.
People take issue with him because in the early days he did it badly. The houses leaked, they were hot.
I'm just glad I didn't kill anybody, fry a baby or something.
When local regulators found out the Earthships didn't comply with planning laws, Mike's architect license was revoked.
I was twisting the law to try to get sustainable housing out there, folks.
Oliver Hodge's Garbage Warrior follows Mike's 7-year fight simply for the right to experiment.
You use the term real people. Is there a term other than real people for real people?
And when Mike and his crew construct fast, cheap, quality housing for tsunami victims, people desperate enough to try anything, his crazy ideas start to make a lot of sense.
It was fantastic to see something happen in 14 days when in 3 years it still couldn't happen in a developed country.
Okay, Michael, sir. Okay.
Thank you.
You started this 30 years ago. This was an experiment. You head out to the desert, mainly to escape conscription for Vietnam, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to northern New Mexico to race motocross with the hopes of getting injured enough to stay out of Vietnam. It turned out to be that northern New Mexico was undeveloped, backward area. I'm fresh out of architectural school, and you could do anything. You could do anything you wanted to, and so I did. The bottles, they're jewels, This is garbage, and it comes out like stained glass jewels.
Oliver, so you meet this man. You didn't think he was crazy?
No.
Sorry, hesitation.
Not until I got to know him. I mean, one thing about Mike that struck me instantly was he was in the trenches with the boys with a sledgehammer, and that is way beyond your average architect.
Your environmental awakening came long before you met Michael, didn't it? And much of it shaped by your work in the industry.
I built props and models and ended up running prop making and model making departments for big movies. We'd just flown a whole film set to Malta in the biggest cargo plane in the world. The film sets were put in metal containers that weigh 2 tons when they're empty. And, and I'm trying to, recycle my waste in my prop making department. And I think, what's a waste of time, So I didn't hand in my notes because of that, but I actually had met Mike by then, and I was already kind of on board with the Earthship idea of making a documentary, and I just thought I'll chance it and see what happens.
This time I wasn't going to fight the county. This time I was going to fight the state.
To make an environmental film, say, 5 years ago, would have been far more risky. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I think Inconvenient Truth has really helped, but there's only so many films that people will be able to handle telling them what they're not supposed to be doing or that they're doing something wrong. And they need inspirational movies that tell them the answer and the solution.
So we're sitting on 6,000 gallons of water, food growing, sewage internalized, 70-degree space year-round. What these kind of houses are doing is taking every aspect of your life and putting it into your own hands.
How would I do it? How would I go about building an Earthship?
The process of building an Earthship is much the same as building a home of any kind. Bank financing, insurance, and permits are now much more readily available. Over the last 35 years, I've spent 75% of all of my time, all of my money, and all of my energy fighting for permission to do this, and 25% of my time, energy, and money actually doing it. And that's the big issue.
Basically, it's going to be called the Sustainable Development Testing Site Act.
Okay.
I had to tweak every aspect of my being just to be there.
Did you think that maybe you could go to a third world country like Brazil or somewhere, or Africa, India? They're full with, there's no regulation there, right? They build little huts on the side of the hill or whatever they can scratch together.
There are more people and more pollution and more impact occurring in developed countries. So we need to go where the problem is more than retreat to the mountains of Peru and have a good life for the next 20 years. That'd be great. I'd rather go through hell here and make a bigger difference.
How viable is something like this, Michael, for high-density living?
It is ridiculous to think of retrofitting London, New York. It can be done. I mean, you can do some steps in that direction. But where we're headed is new towns, new cities.
How did he talk you into letting him stalk you for 3 years, which is virtually what it was?
Even when I first built the first beer can house in 1971, that started the media following what I was doing. So I just thought Ollie's another, half-assed documentary, whatever. And so he just keeps coming back, and he keeps coming back. And, after 3 years, I started to hate him. But I had no idea that he was as talented as he is, and he's put together something that speaks for me, and I'm in awe of it.
May I please thank the garbage warrior, Michael Reynolds, and filmmaker Oliver Hodge.
The American dream, in my opinion, is in the toilet. The American dream is now, how do we survive the future?
Well, that's it for this Fabulous Picture Show. If you want to know more about the film or the Earthships, you can head to these websites. What are you two going to do now without each other for the next 3 years, huh? Make another film?
Yeah, he'll be back.
You reckon?
I will be back, yeah.
You're a total stalker, aren't you?
I am, I'm afraid so.
Hope to see you next time.
At this point, I'm assessing my life and my situation. Do I want to spend the next decade proving these people wrong on an ego trip? Or do I want to, however I can, prove sustainable housing and building?
How would you rate this film out of 10 and why?
Oh, definitely 9.5 out of 10. It's really fantastic.
It just made me want to go off and join a crew building Earthships.
It didn't really tell me anything I didn't already know.
America's future is in the toilet. That's it.